Charles Barkley, the Hall of Famer, TNT analyst, and former MVP in 1993, joining us on the program. Chuck Wagon, how are you?
I'm great, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How's life?
Man, life is good. Just getting ready to finish up this Final Four thing and get back to my NBA gig. One more weekend, and it's been a fun tournament as usual. Can anybody beat UConn? It's the big question. I mean, whoa. So that's the only thing we got to worry about this weekend. Can anybody beat UConn?
Better product, the college basketball or the NBA? On the floor, just aesthetically watching.
Well, the NBA has become just a three-point shooting contest every night. Um, It's like, hey, we're just gonna go out there. We're gonna roll the ball out there and shoot a bunch of threes. If they go in, we're gonna win. If they don't go in, we're gonna lose. But the Celtics have been great all year. If you can't be excited about Anthony Edwards and Jay Gilders-Alexander and what the Joker are doing, Victor's been coming on really amazing lately. So there's some questions. Is anybody any good other than the Celtics in the East? That's a very fair question.
Well,
The West, the West is going to be crazy. I know we know because we don't know how those young kids in Minnesota or Oklahoma City are going to react when the bright lights come on. So it's going to be some interesting storylines.
Can Luka win the MVP?
I wouldn't have him above Joker, Anthony Edwards, and Shea Gilders-Alexander. I wouldn't have him above those guys. And I would say Anthony Edwards, in my opinion, I would probably give him a slight edge because if they're able to finish with the best record without Karl Anthony Towns, I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I wonder about it. I'm looking at the odds in front of me. Joker's a big favorite to win his third MVP.
He should be. He's definitely in the conversation. If they finish with the best record, it's just going to be about your choice. But if after if the Timberwolves are able to finish with the best record in the West, they've been all probably a month without Karl Anthony Towns. If he can keep them afloat, I probably would give him a slight edge. But if they gave the Joker, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Hey, if Oklahoma City finishes with the best record, I might give it to Shea, and I don't even want to leave out Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of those four guys. I like to say Luka's been playing great also.
I was curious your thoughts on DJ Burns playing in the NBA, given they list him at 6'9". I don't think he's 6'9", but 275. Can you see in today's NBA a place for him?
Well, I don't like to talk bad about college players because I've been asked that same question about Zach Edey for the last 3 months, and I love both of those kids. I love both of those kids. So I think it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see it. But I've been asked. They just started asking me about DJ Burns in the last 2 weeks, but I've been asked by coaches in the NBA and general managers about Zach Edey because I have a lot of private conversation with managers, general managers, and coaches when I'm studying all this tape. I tell you what, that damn boy at Tennessee, Dalton Connect, woo! I said, yo, man, y'all better start watching this kid. And he put on a show last Saturday, and so did Zach Edey. But like I say, I don't want to answer the question about Edey and Burns because let's let it play out.
Well, I just wonder about that body type. He's like a Zach Randolph. He's not explosive.
Yeah.
Kind of built like Zion, but he's not like Zion. But he's great footwork. He said that he studied Akeem Olajuwon, his footwork, and really good passer, and knows how to use his body. And
but it's good. But then you know how they lie about all these college kids. He doesn't look 6'9" to me.
No, he's 6'7".
Yeah. So it's going to be. We're going to have to wait and see. To be honest with you, it's a great story. He seems like a great kid, but I can't really until I see what how big he is. I can't really give you an honest opinion.
Well, it's like you did things that were amazing. They wanted to make you a little taller, because somebody your size shouldn't have been doing what you were doing. And I remember standing next to you the first time. I went, that dude ain't 6'6". That dude ain't 6'5". You were probably 6'4.5".
Yeah, but if you're going to play at a smaller height, you got to be really explosive, like myself, a Larry Johnson, Zion. I'm trying to think, is there anybody I'm missing? But you have to be really, really explosive. You can't play a 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", in my opinion, unless you're really explosive.
Yeah, it's tricky. But, if I would have said, look at Joker and 5 years down the road, he'll be the best player in the game, and you probably would have said, there's no way. Giannis,
yeah, but he's different. Yeah, but he's different, though, Dan, because, number one, he's 7 feet tall. He got feet just like Burns, but he's 7 feet tall. He's a great shooter. He's a great passer. You have to factor all that stuff in. Now, if Burns was 6'10", 6'11", yeah, he could play in the NBA. But you have to factor in our Jokers. Like Jokers, he can shoot the three. He can post up. He's got great feet. He got the whole package. But actually, that's a perfect example. We get so enamored about some of these guys they can run and jump. They don't have any idea how to play basketball. I always say, yeah, he can run and jump. So can a deer, but I would never put a deer in the game.
He's Charles Barkley, Hall of Famer, co-host of King Charles on CNN. Did you watch LSU in Iowa?
I did. I watched both games. I think Connecticut's going to win the championship.
Really?
I really do. I got Connecticut winning the championship, but I watched both games. I actually kept my whole night open because I wanted to watch the game. And obviously, Caitlin was fabulous. Fabulous. It was fun to watch. She put on a show in the biggest moment. And then I watched, shout out to Juju Watkins, man. She is unbelievable. She is going to be the face of basketball for the next however long she stays in college. But, man, there's something about that Connecticut team. They're, to me, they're the favorite in the Final Four.
You're not betting on them, are you?
I didn't bet on those games because yeah, that's a good question, Dan. No, I'm not. No.
Wait, I don't want to trigger something here, and then all of a sudden.
No. I've actually. I was going to say I've never bet on a woman's sport. As much as I'm a gambling degenerate, I've actually never bet on a woman's sport. I got to tell you that, and I try to act like we got enough idiots and fools on television to act like to know everything about every sport. Like I can't. I didn't watch. I watched more women's college basketball the last 3 weeks than I have all year. So I don't want to get on here like some of these fools on other networks who talk about every sport like they're an expert on every sport. And tell them, Dan, I would tell you, quit using the damn word expert. There's no such thing as an expert. It's just somebody's opinion. I hate when these guys say, well, he's an expert. No, he's not. It's just some fool giving his opinion.
Have you been approached about doing a gambling show?
I have not, but I'm a FanDuel guy. I've enjoyed working with FanDuel. They've been great to work with. Me and Kenny both have endorsements with FanDuel. It's going to be interesting, man. Oh, Dan, I'm so glad you asked that question because there's some people on television who've been really bugging me lately. I mean, seriously, I'm going to be serious. I don't like being serious, but I'm going to be serious. Okay, guys. These guys out here making up excuses, talking about the NFL, the NBA, we're in bed with all the gambling sites. 100% true. 100% true. Under no circumstance, as a player, should you talk to your friends about gambling, shade points, good or bad, prop bets as a player. You can never, ever, ever entertain betting on influence the outcome of a game. That like I say, don't make excuses, man. Hey, sports gambling is a big thing. It's gonna be there no matter what. But as a player, and I'm talking just to the players, under no circumstances can you get yourself into situations where you are involved with gambling at the point where you can fix a game, beat some type of stupid prop bet. Guys, I'm just telling you, don't ever do that because you're going to get banned for life if you do that, period.
Yeah, it feels like it's commonplace now, Chuck. And I've mentioned this a couple of times. Now, if you're not betting, there's something wrong with you. I mean, everybody is involved. I'm not talking players. I'm talking about fans that if you didn't have a bet on the Super Bowl, then you were probably in the minority.
Yeah, Dan, first of all, I never try to fake who I am. I'm a gambling guy. I love it. I never understand the prop bet stuff. Like, and I never bet halftime or anything like that. Because I always tell people, if you bet at halftime, you're just chasing. You're either going to break even or lose twice. I make my bet before the game, and whatever happens, happens. And I would never bet on a prop bet. But like I say, man, I love to gamble. I don't begrudge anybody who like to do it. But man, I think it has gotten out of hand. I knew it got out of hand last year with LeBron. I was watching a show when LeBron was getting ready to pass Kareem. They're like, you can bet well, LeBron. They're like, whether he's going to make it on a free throw, a layup, a dunk, or a three-point shot. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I said, you can actually do that. And it was crazy that you could do that. And that's when you know, like, yo, man, if you're going to sit around and try to guess when LeBron's going to break Kareem record on what kind of shot he's going to do it on, you need to have your head checked and examined.
Well, I'm worried about the college prop bets because these kids are going to face, they're going to be angry bettors out there. And I think that
they're just stupid. I'm not going to bet on no damn college kid because, college kids, they're all good, solid players. But the notion that what a college player is going to, you'll get. I got like friends who bet on preseason football, which is the stupidest thing in the history of civilization. I said, wait a minute, you don't even know who's going to play. Most of those guys are going to be like waiters and bartenders in like 2 months. I'm not going to bet on a preseason football game.
Well, I got prop bets here on DJ Burns over under. 15.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. I mean,
well, I tell you what, I think he's going to have a tough time against Zach Edey. Because if you notice, you go back and look at those games, you see how he bumps those little skinny ass guys from Duke?
Yeah.
When he bumped Zach Edey ain't gonna move. So, I'm telling you that's why I was asking your question. Didn't want to answer your question. Like Zach Edey, like when he was hitting those little dudes from Duke, they little light in the cakes. They were just flying off his body. When he bumped into Zach Edey ain't gonna move. That's why I think he's really gonna have a tough time against Purdue because that little thing he was doing against Duke is not going to work against Zach because he's just so physically imposing.
Being an Auburn guy, can you root for Alabama?
Hell no.
Okay.
Under no circumstances can I root for them. Hey, give them credit. Give them credit. Coach Oat and the Sears young kid and Pringle, they've done a fabulous job. The young kid Nelson, the young kid Nelson shocked me in the game. Man, he got some handle and everything. But under no circumstances could I root for Alabama.
If you had Steph Curry versus Caitlin Clark in a three-point shooting contest.
I was very impressed with Sabrina. How she handled the moment. NBA All-Star Weekend, because I was like, this is going to be interesting for me to watch because she's a great, great shooter. Same with Caitlin, but that's probably the biggest thing she's ever done in her life. But she stood up and stood out. She was unbelievable. And I saw what Caitlin did the other night in the moment when the biggest game in her life was there. So I think it'd be a great thing.
Well, I can see Sabrina and Caitlin versus Steph and Clay.
That'd be a good one. Listen, man, I got to give these girls, these women, so much credit. What Caitlin, Angel Reese, Juju, Paige Beckers, what Don Staley and Gino Auriemma have brought to the table. You got to count the coaches too.
Yeah.
because Gino and Dawn, they're amazing at what they've accomplished. But this has been the last 2 years, man. It's been a really good time for women's college basketball. I mean, it's been incredible. Now, the toughest thing they're going to have to do is what are they going to do going forward? Because Kaylin is a once-in-a-lifetime attraction. And she's going to go on and bring a lot of eyeballs to the WNBA. But she's a bright light, man. You know, I tried to get to, I want to see her play in person this year, but I couldn't get to Iowa because it's in the middle of nowhere. I was trying to work it in my schedule. You know, I fly every week between New York and
Don't you have a private jet?
Hell no.
You don't have access to a private jet?
You know how expensive those things are?
Yeah.
Every time one of those bad boys takes off, it's like $25,000 one way. That's crazy. I've done it before.
You've got that money.
Yeah, but I want to keep it. I don't want to be broke again. Yeah.
Were you broke?
Oh, growing up, I was broke.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's been a long. Well, in fairness, I was broke after 4 years in the NBA because my first agent stole all my money. I don't want to mention his name. His name was Lance Lusnick. He stole all my damn money. And let me tell you something, Dan. If I ever see him again, I'm going to beat him to a pulp. If I ever see that dude again, I'm going to beat him to a pulp. Because he's never apologized. Now, if he had apologized, it's probably 40 years ago. If he had about 38, 39, he never apologized for stealing all my money. And if I saw him today, I'd beat the hell out of him.
He got fined $5,000 for stealing your money.
You know, the only good thing about it, Dan, I wasn't making any money.
You know what? You should fire up the Barkley blimp and then take that to go see Caitlin Clark. You could have done that.
Well, that was very nice of Capital One to give me a blimp. I'm getting, you know, it's so funny. I'm getting texts from people saying it's over certain cities. So I guess it's going to get to Arizona. I don't get to Arizona till the end of the week because I'm in New York to do King Charles tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting to Arizona till the weekend. So hopefully I'll get to see the blimp by the end of the week.
I was in Cleveland for the Final Four. That's not very far.
Yeah, but I got stuff to do.
Oh, okay.
I got the Final Four. I got King Charles. Right. I got the Final Four. But I want to see her play in person because what she's done for the women's game has been incredible, man. And you know, and listen, when I talked about Gino and Don, I don't want to leave Coach Mulkey out. What she's done for college basketball has been amazing also. So, and the coach at Iowa is a
Bluter. Yeah.
Bluter.
Lisa Bluter.
She's done an amazing job. So shout out to all those women, man. It's been great to watch.
You look like you're 40 years of age.
Well, you know, Dan, I'm down 65 pounds, man, thanks to Manjaro. And I got another I'm going to get to, because, you know, I got really fat. I was a fat ass. I was up to 355.
Dang.
And I'm down to 285. I'm going to get to 270. So that's good. When I get to 270, I'll be really good to go. I don't have to worry about dropping dead. As my doctor said, ain't no fat old people, Dan. Ain't no fat old people.
Have fun this weekend. Thank you, Charles.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Y'all be safe.
Play of the Day is up next.